Welcome in to DC On Screen, a podcast about the DC Universe properties being brought to film and television. I am your host, David C. Robertson. To my right, my steadfast cohort, Jason Goss.
Hi.
We have seen Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. And to be clear, we normally get really spoilery right away, but what we're going to do, because we just seen this thing, it just came out today, we're going to do an unspecified amount of time of spoiler-free review, as per requested by Christopher White, even though we were going to do it anyway, but he requested it, so shout out to Chris White because he's awesome. But before we actually get into spoiler territory, we will warn you guys. Is that fair? Well, no one's saying anything, so this isn't
Silence
live.
means yes.
This isn't live, so
That's what they taught me in
that's
high
gonna
school.
work. Quick note, though, there are a lot of people out there who are really worried the Batman vs. Superman reviews are not good. It currently sits at 30%, 30% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It is certifiably rotten according to Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score is 77%. What do you have to say to those people?
The phrase I had in my head leaving the theater is, fuck the critics. They didn't make this film for them. They made it for us.
I absolutely, wholeheartedly agree with Jason.
Zack Snyder apparently has our backs.
Zack Snyder apparently listened to a whole hell of a lot of complaints from Man of Steel and worked very hard to rectify said complaints.
Well, or like Lutheresquely planned that the whole time. But I mean,
I don't believe
if he
that's
did
the
that,
case.
fuck yeah, good job, man.
I think there may have been a seed of that there, and the reaction may have just pushed it further. Like, okay, we really do need to work on what happens when a Man of Steel falls from the sky. And, oh, man.
It did feel a little bit like between films, Snyder went back and watched his own Watchmen.
Yes.
came back and went, oh, you know, this is probably a theme we should have a moment with.
As far as giving a spoiler, that's a pretty good spoiler-free review. I'll keep going.
My version of a spoiler-free review is, dude, don't look at the internet. Just
don't look at the internet.
Fuck the interwebs. Hit this thing up. It's $15 whole. You know, you're gonna be okay. We saw it in 2D, by the way. And by my recollection, there's a couple of shots that probably would look really damn cool in 3D.
Absolutely.
But I find 2D I find 3D a little too distracting, personally. Like when I'm watching a 3D thing, I'm more concerned about how well they did the 3D, and I'm focusing on the function, not the piece of work in front of me. So I find 2D a lot more enjoyable, personally. At least on the first viewing. But yeah, man, just brazen up, thicken the skin a little bit, have a shot of whatever it is, what's your flavor, and go see the damn thing. One shot now. You still have to drive, but go see the damn thing.
One shot. You don't want to have to go piss during this thing. This is 2.5 hours.
It's 2.5. It's a marathon of bladder function. It's just... Seriously, when they offer you the bigger size for 25 cents, it's not worth it.
It's not.
It's not worth it.
It's not.
And I want you to be clear. It feels like they're giving you a deal. They're not. That syrup costs way less than 25 cents.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you out of your... Like, that's what they want you to do is get in the theater and realize, hold on now. I had to leave that movie for like 3 minutes. I think I missed something important. I'm just going to go buy another ticket.
Right.
Be here all night trying to watch this.
The Ben Affleck as Batman. He's my Batman now.
I can't. I got nothing.
No,
I'm
not.
Nothing to... Not one critical thought.
Now, hold on.
Around.
I'm not saying Kevin Conroy won't always be my Batman, but Ben Affleck's my Batman. Like, Kevin Conroy is my Batman.
That's my Batman voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ben Affleck was so close to that at times.
You know what's funny? It didn't feel like he was doing an impression either.
It didn't.
It felt like he had a really good take on exactly what pitch his voice was supposed to be, and he nailed it.
But that was naturally, and then they put the voice modulator over it.
Oh god, the voice modulator.
What's funny about Kevin Conroy,
we're not spoiling anything with a voice modulator. That's a known quantity right now.
That's in there. But what's funny about Kevin Conroy, real quick, when he first started doing BTAS, you could tell him he was doing two different voices, and now he just does the same voice for Batman and Bruce Wayne because his voice has gotten now so low,
right, with age.
He just has. Well, it was the same
30
thing.
Years almost since he started doing this film.
Absolutely, it was the same. It was the same thing that happened to Michael Dorn when he was playing Worf. Like he had kind of a lighter voice, but he kept doing the affectation until he actually like pushed his vocal cords into a point of. His voice is just
them in certain.
Yeah, his voice is just really low now, and he doesn't even have to try to do Worf anymore.
No, but he does an excellent Calibuck. Isn't that
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, see, it's all DC related, guys.
Yeah.
We'll
get anything back if you give us time.
Yeah. If you're a Man of Steel apologist, you guys know some of you don't. Some of you just watched or want to see Batman vs Superman, don't know what we think about anything. Go check out our review on Man of Steel. Jason just tried to defend it and I ripped it apart. I mean, that's pretty fair.
Yeah, we just kind of made that an adversarial one, just to see how that went.
But he kept agreeing with me, so really we kind of both ripped it apart.
There'd be point. There were times where I would be trying to make a point, and then I would sideline myself to diffuse my own point. And then come back to trying to finish the point. Almost just out of respect for the point.
And, just for the hell of it, Man of Steel sits at 56% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Right. 76% for the audience. It's almost the same.
That part I think is absolutely key. That part I think is really key.
So, I try to go by the audience score usually on Rotten Tomatoes because I recognize that a lot of these critics, man, they're bought.
Well, sure.
They have to be bought. And, who's signing the checks? Disney?
Apparently not Warner Brothers.
Not Warner Brothers.
They spent all their money on Reddit posters. Didn't actually bother with the important things in life.
So, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, they both absolutely kill it as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Amy Adams, for what she was given here, she wasn't given a huge amount of screen time, but she was given a lot of the key emotional points throughout the film, and she did a really fine job. She can give a damn, pep talk. I'll say that.
Oh yeah,
I'll say that for her. Diane Lane, same deal.
Oh yeah,
cool. They even
Godot. We decided her name was Godot. Right?
Yeah. Oh, Godot. Whatever. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for her solo movie. I wasn't even looking forward to it as much as man, it's good. I want to see her in action now as Wonder Woman.
I really want it.
I was like, yeah, Wonder Woman, but Justice League. Now I'm like, whatever, Justice League, Wonder Woman.
Let's get to Wonder Woman first.
Jesse Eisenberg, who we were actually a little worried about in the trailer.
I wasn't.
Well, I was a little worried about him in the trailer. Kind of felt like he had that Jim Carrey Riddler vibe. Nah, man, he's good. He's so good.
He's solid. He's absolutely solid.
So good.
He's weird. Like he's so weird that you're going to be focusing on his acting sometimes rather than character, and it's kind of okay because he's doing a really fantastic job, and did some neat, some unique things with his portrayal.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen little character ticks like that. I haven't seen a lot of, especially with any live Lex. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it in.
Of course, this is a live Alexander, so it's not exactly.
Right. I mean, I guess he's a junior, but
yeah,
no, I've never seen this done. I've never seen this version of the character at all. Period.
Yeah. I don't think he's ever been live, the actual junior Alexander. But for God's sake, man, there's just I don't think there was anybody who really filled the film.
No,
I don't think there was any. I'm not going to be able to point to any one actor or actress and go, yeah, this guy fucked it up. But this guy. I mean, at worst, there are a few things we would have tweaked. And this is a first take, so give us a few days to think about it. I'm sure, by maybe the news episode or something, we'll have plenty of things we'd have tweaked. But
right.
Dude,
I mean, we actually wound up seeing this with Matt Carroll of the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. He felt like it was a real slog, man. He felt like it was the first hour. He said was really boring. There's not a lot of action in that part, but it's all build up and it's all character work, and I was absolutely enthralled by that.
I was fine with it. I got that it was a little slower, and there were a few times where you're kind of wondering, all right, well, when are we gonna get to the film part? Because in a normal movie, when you have an hour and a half, you spend like the first 15, 20 minutes setting up pieces. But all of the little vignettes that set up that are part of the setup are much shorter. They're 2 or 3 minutes here and there. You get to it, you connect a couple pieces, you start going. And this one, because of the length of the film, they had time to go spend 10 minutes on just one piece of setup.
They did.
That wasn't yet connected to another thing. Now that will create a psychological effect where you're wondering, you feel like lost in the wilderness if you're not. It can do that. I think it's what happened to Matt. I'm not sure, but
I think part of it as well is they're not hiding the fact, and I'm getting what Zack Snyder was saying, because they're not, like, a few months ago when he was like, he and David Ayer were both talking about like, oh, Marvel doesn't do the interconnectivity like we do. Well, they really have, though, in the last few movies, and the last few comic book movies from Marvel have gotten lower reviews from the critics.
Yeah.
Here, they really are actually setting up a universe. They're not even playing about it. They're not even. They're not. It's not like, oh, here's a cut scene at the end of a thing.
Yeah. Well, that's the Avengers films for the most part weren't connected entities. They just had a cutscene at the end of the film.
Yeah,
like you had Nick Fury showing up everywhere, or you had Tony Stark showing up somewhere else. But that was all you had. So, I mean, by the time you get around, like the way this film goes about doing it instead is, they give you kind of a lot as they go. I mean, like right in what we're doing here, they've already set up a huge portion of their universe.
They absolutely have, and it feels epic.
Let me put it this way: like you leave the theater ready for the Justice League film.
You do.
like
I was
wishing you could just walk down the hall and turn right into that film.
That was my wish. Like, I want to walk down the hall, turn right into a bathroom, and take a piss, and then walk right back down the hall and go see Justice League.
Yeah.
There is like they're very much just creating an epic. They're creating a saga already.
They have a story. It's clear they have a story.
Yeah, I guess critics who were, but that's not what I've seen the critics complain about. The critics started saying this feels like a tiny little piece of a big no.
That's the same thing they got in trouble for with the Marvel movies. When the Marvel movies started actually putting pieces together within the context of the film, and not just a stinger. And I admit, I have had the same problem. Like, you go to see Age of Ultron, and you're like, I feel like I'm missing Act 3.
Right.
And I think that's the problem people are having with it, where it doesn't feel like a complete film. But this is kind of a style of filmmaking, this serialized,
and that's what it
over
is.
Years.
This is what we were wanting. This is what we were squealing about when we had heard Bruce Wayne mention Metropolis and Batman Forever.
Right.
I'm damn sure not going to start bitching about it now.
So I chose which side of the fence I'm on. I'm hanging out there.
I guess we'll wrap up the spoiler-free part of this.
God, and we're hopefully we remain spoiler-free. I think we did. God help us, and I apologize.
I do think we remain. I
don't think we mentioned anything in particular.
We didn't mention anything in particular. I made sure of that, and I've got Jason staring at me like accusingly. Like,
I don't think I did.
I feel like he's looking at me like, "Oh, what are you talking about now, buddy?" I'm like, But
we're trying to police each other. It's all for you.
Like, it is absolutely worth your dollar, man. You got to go see this thing. I think it's absolutely worth it. My girlfriend, who has absolutely no real interest in Batman or Superman, she likes all the DC shows, but she's never really gotten into Batman. Like the thing she got into was or the thing she saw really that introduced her was the Christian Bale, and that betrayed her. So she gave it an 8 out of 10. So I mean, she's as layperson as we're gonna get around here.
Yeah, and it still struck as, I mean, she just enjoyed the movie as a movie, which that's about as much as I can hope for.
Yeah, so I think that's gonna call it on our spoiler-free review. I will say that a lot of the reviews are saying that this is a joyless film. I don't know. I laughed at a number of places. Guys. Don't worry, there are jokes. It is funny.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we're not going to apply the word comedy to this at all, but
no.
It
is an earnest film.
It's an earnest film. And, the jokes that are in there are dry jokes. They're not, they didn't reach for a laugh at all.
No.
And in the context of this film, if they had, I would have felt betrayed. It was fine.
It didn't ask for the laugh. It asked for the salt.
Right.
Studio
butter.
60 fans.
Ask for the butter.
Whatever. Butter. Why do I always think of salt?
I don't know.
It's so weird. Maybe because I like salt. I like butter too. I'm a fat guy. Anyway,
On to the spoilers?
on to the spoilers. We're going to give you a little countdown here.
Yeah,
5, 4, 3. Spoilers are coming. 2.
Run!
1. So Superman freaking dies, right? Is that...
Spoiler enough for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
There were
Lord.
tears. I swear I could hear tears hitting the floor in the theater. I could almost hear the tears hitting the floor over the sound of the person unwrapping goddamn Jolly Ranchers the entire fucking film.
Gosh. I wasn't even going to mention that. I was trying to get over it.
I wanted you to get it off your chest because I know it's hurting.
Oh.
I do propose, after watching this film,
Whoa.
I propose that we should segregate theaters into eaters and not eaters. You should be able to pay an extra $2 to go in, and I'd pay the premium to go in and hang out with like a lot of people who at worst had the bottom of a Coke. They were going,
Right.
I can deal with that every now and then.
Right, of course.
But trust me, I believe that I should go pay the same price, and you should have to go pay another $2 to be able to eat while you're eating.
Look, man. I've made numerous comments about my weight. I'm out of weight. I wish I was out of weight. I'm out of shape. I'm a fatty fat. But this person was like 4 of me, and I know because I kept looking back at them as if to hopefully telepathically impart the concept that they should stop unwrapping things.
Well, the biggest problem was that they were doing... All right, there's a counterintuition that takes place in a theater when you're trying to do something that's like... All right, my weakness is the Sour Patch Kids. Mm-hmm. Because I'll get the box of Sour Patch Kids, and I get addicted to them really quickly. Mm-hmm. And like by the end of the film, I can taste the blood in my tongue. It grates me, so I can taste copper and iron. But I'm still eating the motherfuckers, right?
Right.
But it's counterintuitive. You think like, I'll just go real slow. Mm-hmm. I'll just untwist this Jolly Rancher real slow. Like, no, do it real quick. Do it real quick and get it over with, so everyone can get back to the movie.
The effect that you have is an unending cycle of unwrapping.
Yes. Yeah, it just keeps going.
These assholes, which by the way, total assholes because they totally just threw all the wrappers on the floor afterward.
Yeah, that's not a reason we're picking on them at this point. Is they're just like,
oh no, I was gonna pick. I wanted to pick on them anyway. I don't care. But
I would have spared them. I would have spared them minus that detail. But somebody has to come pick up after you, man. Come on.
Oh, just ass hats. Anyway,
back to the movie.
Back to the movie. I did have my issues with the movie, and it's almost nearly impossible to really get into those without getting into spoilers. I mean, if you had a problem with Superman killing and Man of Steel, you're not going to be happy with Batman.
No.
Because Batman is one murdering son of a bitch.
Yeah. It's not like flippant murder. It's all people that were already firing at him.
Right. Well, I mean, you have sort of the murder by omission.
That was actually cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Like we talked about months ago how we were like, oh, I'm not on board with this bat branding shit. Yeah. Well, it kind of turns out we were wrong. I was really on board with it because what he's doing is he's like they very clearly show you that like this is a dude like the guy that he brands, and then they say it later. The people that he brands are pedophiles and sex traffickers. So that's the only people he brands. So when these assholes go to prison, it's basically a death sentence because you see the bat brand on, and prisoners notoriously hate pedophiles. So
it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah. So,
like even prisoners have children and they don't appreciate that shit.
Absolutely. Plus,
even prisoners, how dare they, child?
Right. And plus, I think a lot of prisoners just kind of feel like I have bad enough self-esteem. I want to pick on this guy.
Right.
Like, I need someone to look down on. I've been incarcerated, for God's sake. They literally told me I couldn't be in public.
Right.
But this guy.
But yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty on board with that, and I'm pretty on board with the fact that this Batman, as they've been saying, has been around for 20 years. He's sick, he's tired, and now this super bastard comes from outer space and starts mucking things up all over the planet. Nah, man, time to start killing folk.
Yeah, he went a little far.
Yeah, and
this was a nice film about what would happen if you pushed Batman too far.
Yeah, and Batman is, and at the beginning of the movie when the branding is new. They're talking about like it's a new thing. The Bat brand has been has not happened very much at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, I mean well they actually say in the movie that it's they actually mention that it's a new development. They kind of say like he started branding people now, but that was new. But that was since the introduction of Superman.
It's actually funny when you look at it from the. You can almost hear like a father or something saying that to his kid, like. That nut in Gotham, he's branding people now.
Right.
This damn world's going to hell in a handbasket. Yeah, but he's branding pedophiles. That's a little better.
Right. You just find that not too many people are all that sympathetic toward pedophiles.
Yeah.
Natural human instinct normally. But
who do you like better, pedophiles or people who brand other people? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
Probably branders.
And I think...
Not wanton branders. But I mean, if somebody's just walking down the street with a hot iron going, I'm not down with that.
Yeah, just some random guy running around branding YOLO into people's asses.
Right.
Yeah, that's not okay.
I think his name is Pitbull.
Does he yell timber when he does it?
Probably.
Wonder Woman was absolutely badass.
Oh yeah, the in our particular theater, the only scene that got a real like audience, overall audience response. I mean, there was a lot of, and a couple of like light claps here and there, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then the one that got straight up hands clapping, a few whoops and hollers was the moment Wonder Woman pops on screen in her outfit.
And which we're in the South, so I mean, usually the only time you get a clap or a cheer is if there's a football involved.
Right. No, the whole time, what's sad? The football was a pretty decent part of the storyline for Clark Kent stuff. And I'm sitting there watching in the background, like, yeah, Metropolis State versus Gotham City. I got you. Like, how it's like a close down situation up there. Like, I was totally on board.
Oh man.
I would have sat there and watched that game in the middle of it.
Yeah, there were some plot issues though. Like I didn't understand. Like, we're gonna assume you watched the movie now. At this point.
Yeah, we're in the spoiler sections.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I'm not gonna start really getting into anything about how like what led up to and now. I'm just talking. How the hell did Lois figure out that Batman's kryptonite dagger was in the place?
The dagger was a problem for me twice because
okay,
one. I'll give her journalistic instinct. She's a clever girl. She just is. I'll give her that maybe she kind of looked at it and went, that guy might be a Kryptonian. We're probably going to need that giant Kryptonian weapon that I just saw Batman wielding. The bigger problem for me than that is Batman at the end of that scene just going like, fuck this giant weapon that's like, he just tosses it. He just chucks it. But it's a problem I have in general with some of the Batman stuff. And there's a few times where around this in this movie I thought it was going to happen. Batman can't just leave his gear hanging around. It's really dangerous gear to have hanging around. It's like every time I see him like drop a batarang somewhere, I'm like, oh my god. I think there is I can't remember the name of the story. There's a story where like some kid finds a batarang and it ends up being a problem.
Well, okay, yes, but the first time we see the batarang, it was in the wall and he was still in the building. He hadn't had time to even get out yet because the cop comes in. He's like,
talking about the batarangs?
Yeah,
I'm not worried about the batarangs in this one. I like the spear is what I'm worried about.
Okay. Because the other time
he just tosses
he actually left the batarang in the place where in Lex's, and that was totally like that
was just a signature.
That was a screw you to Lex, pretty much.
I mean, that was a blow me.
So the spear though,
but yeah, like the spear, man, you spend all this time like from Batman's perspective, he had to loot LexCorp in order to get it. I mean, this is an internationally sought item that he just grabbed and then fashioned it, I guess, into this giant dagger thing. And good God, man, like just leave it hanging around in the ruins of an old building. That's a powerful weapon.
Can I ask? Did I miss something? Why is there water? Why is it like? I don't know.
Why is there just a pool of water in the bottom of that building?
Yeah, like why? Where did the water come from? Like,
I'm not actually sure about that. But Gotham's kind of so dilapidated in certain cases. I'm just like, yeah, sure, fucking puddles of water everywhere, whatever.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, well now that whole thing that they were just fighting is now underwater. What did I miss? I kept like, and I'm like sitting there watching it, being kind of paranoid. Like anything I didn't understand plot wise, I was like, I bet this is part of that 30 minutes that Zack Snyder had to cut. But this is going to be in the R-rated version.
No, like all these problems, like Barbara Gordon's going to show up and fix all of this for you.
It'll just be Barbara Gordon coming out being like, well...
That's what happened. They cut the scene where Barbara Gordon pops on screen and goes, Lois, you should probably grab that spear.
Right.
I think that's going to be important.
Who are you?
I'll tell you later.
Wheel.
Yeah.
That was this is audio only, so you couldn't see me doing the wheelchair motion. I'm sorry, audience. Nothing anywhere as egregious as some of the plot holes in Man of Steel. Let me just put it that way as well.
No, there were gaping holes in Man of Steel in a couple places, but I think because in certain ways it tried to move too quickly. This movie, if anything, went the other way and didn't move as quickly as some people probably want. Like that's some of the response they're getting is it didn't feel like it got anywhere sometimes. But it's a 2.5 hour movie, so you got to remember if you spend that whole hour setting things up, you've still got an hour and a half movie behind you. You've got basically this giant prologue to get you to the story that you're actually going to get.
Yeah, and here's something else. Like
totally worth it, by the way. That journey is totally worth it.
There seemed to be an issue with a couple of the people who we were with, who didn't like. There's a reveal where Batman is about to kill Superman with his kryptonite spear, and he realizes like Superman's like trying to save his own mother. That's because Lex kidnapped her, obviously. But he says Martha, and Batman's like, "Where have you heard that name?" They didn't like that suddenly made Batman go over like, "Oh, okay, Superman's a cool guy. His mom's named Martha too."
There's a moment where it really is like, "Dude, your name's Martha?" Like, "Dude, we're besties."
Right.
If you're not really paying attention, it kind of feels like that.
But when you pay attention, like I had really wound up digging that a lot, because when you go back and look, like every time Batman actually really encounters Superman, he makes sure to tell him, "You're not a man," and then you realize he's telling himself that. So he's got Superman at his mercy, and he suddenly realizes this dude has a mother.
It humanizes.
It suddenly like connects with him on a personal level, like his own mother dying. Both of them being named Martha.
Sure as hell helped make the connection.
The catalyst.
Yeah.
And then just automatically, just the look on Affleck's face, the look on Bruce's face is just, and as soon as I knew something like that was going to happen, because Superman broke his mask, so you could see his face. I'm like, oh, you can see his face now. He's going to have an emotional revelation,
right? And
Affleck killed it. Like,
oh, by the way, wonderful. You know how with a lot of these films, you'll have an actor, and these are kind of things like it's a rumor, but you kind of believe it's true. Right. But you'll have an actor going like, "No, get the mask off. I want to be able to. I want to be able to show my face." And blah blah. This was a wonderful solution to it. Like he knocked off just enough of the face that you can see Ben Affleck giving an absolutely stellar performance.
Yeah.
But he's still,
just his realization that like he done did Superman wrong.
Yeah.
But
and he does. He really quickly kind of copes with the idea. But that whole battle starts out like at the beginning of it. Superman comes in plaintive. He comes in just straight up saying like, "Hey, we got off on the wrong foot. I need to talk to you for a second. Blah blah blah. Oh my God, you're shooting at me."
Yeah, Batman is not.
But Batman's over there smiling at it, like every going through the obstacles. The other is smirking, like, "Yeah, my plan might work."
Yeah,
it was a damn good plan.
And as much as people have complained and will most likely complain about that, without looking at it quite that way, I'll bet you anything people are going to complain that the death of Superman at the hands of Doomsday was too quick, was too soon in the canon. After Man of Steel, though, if they're really trying, because I implicitly stated in Man of Steel, or review for that, I felt like Man of Steel didn't give us what it promised us. It didn't give us rioting in the streets. It didn't give us, preachers blowing their own heads off because they've lost their faith because aliens.
There's no consequences and no atonement.
Right. Even though they kept saying that was going to happen. Well, this movie is those consequences. This is right there. And
like you were worried about what Superman did in the first film. Okay, he literally died for that. So, but it gives the universe they're building the opportunity. Because come on, man, we're not done with Superman.
No, of course not.
That's not.
And his death.
That's the only thing about that fell flat to me was like even his death and going, all right, yeah, I know.
Well, the intention was there, and that's what choked me up. Like, Lois doesn't know.
No, the
he doesn't
characters
know.
around him. That's what got to
Right,
me.
right.
Amy Adams' face broke me. I mean,
And
like
that's what
I'm
they
watching,
had to
going,
do.
it's Superman, but wait, Lois. I really.
Yeah, even when he looks at her and says, "I love you," and she realizes what that means, he's
Yeah, like
It
her,
was-
she's just begging him. No, please don't do it. Please don't do
yeah.
it.
And like I said, people are gonna say like, "Oh, he died too soon." No, because how do you get out of Man of Steel?
It took 2.5 hours to kill him.
Yeah, how do you get out of the? But how do you
No,
get out
it
of the
took 4.5
consequences?
hours to kill him.
How do you get out of the consequences of Man of Steel?
Yeah.
And like where are the connecting pieces from Man of Steel? Dude destroys half of Metropolis and a number of other places around the globe, including apparently a very beloved IHOP. To this is the inspiration for almost every SOB on the globe
Yeah.
for Justice League. Well, you want to make him a Jesus figure, you're gonna have to kill him.
Right. Actually, let him
He
resurrect.
has to be sacrificed, and
That works for me.
it works.
And don't get me wrong, it pained me. Like just watching Superman lay there with a hole through his chest and his eyes not moving. Like every part of my being just shivers. Like no, that's not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to happen. I mean, it really is like when you see an injury where like the bones extruding from someone's skin, that shiver down your spine. We're like, that ain't right. Like that's
But even then, I didn't even fully get to like tear rolling down my face.
Amy Adams. That's what did it to me.
No, you know what got to me?
What was that?
When they pulled back the American flag and that symbol on the coffin.
Oh, that one was good.
Shit, that
Oh,
silver
what is that? They have
symbol.
that phrase. What is it like? When you
man.
when you look for his somebody, I can't tell if it was written in chalk or if it was actually like part of the permanent monument. But it was like when you look for his monument, just look around you or look at the person next to you or something like that.
Or look around you, yeah.
God, I've forgotten the specifics
Something like
specifics of it. But
We've only seen this thing once. We literally just left the theater.
yeah, our butts never got cold.
So
We left the seat and came right here.
some crazy shit happens though in this movie too. The nightmare sequences.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about the parademons? The
fucking parrot.
the very clear
Conversation
unobfuscated parademons. Like
that is like they even give one full screen focus to actually
they did.
finish the unconscious
If
blow.
you've ever wanted to see a Jack Kirby drawing in real life,
Why don't you go see this movie?
there you go. There you go.
Or see it again if you're listening to this.
It was really interesting though, because you have this what clearly looks like a post-apocalyptic future where Superman has taken over and has legions at his command.
Mm-hmm.
Batman running around as he would, sticking branches in the spokes of the bicycles of all the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Superman, and I swear those dudes, like Superman, like they take Batman in. Batman's hanging there. It's the scene you've seen from the trailers. It's
The
there.
one they dropped. It's the same 90 seconds or whatever they dropped
Yeah,
here in Gotham's
I
finale.
swear that dude next to Batman had a bat symbol on his face, like the Bat Boys in Dark Knight Returns. I
didn't
swear he did. I've been claiming this is that 30-second spot on Gotham.
Well, I know he got betrayed by his men during that scene, but
Yeah, some of them,
okay.
but
Well,
not the ones hanging, obviously.
Yeah, I guess they were loyalists.
But
Who
Superman
apparently suffered severance, I guess, for their. Yeah, he just heat visions them right in half.
Yeah, and he tells
That's probably a 30 seconds we're gonna get in the R-rated version.
yeah, and he tells Batman, what was it? You took her away from me.
Yeah, she was my world. You took her away, or something like that.
Okay. At this point, you're guessing it's Lois. I mean, that's who I was guessing, right?
That's what you're supposed to guess.
Yeah, we saw the Omega symbol. We saw the parademons. We know Darkseid's somewhere.
He is pending, sirs.
He is
He is
hitting like a
pending.
mo.
Yeah, he's imminent.
And what was right after Bruce wakes up from that, and I'll be damned, what was it, like a boom tube? What was that? It was like a blue undulating light source portal with Barry Allen,
Like unspecified
Ezra
time
Miller's
gap.
yeah,
I don't know what it was.
Ezra Miller's
I always
The
think of boom
Flash.
tubes as actually boom. I actually think of them
Yeah.
as making that deep bass sound.
It might be, Barry It might be
It
Ezra
should be
Miller's
multiverse Barry, you know?
Yeah, it might be Ezra Miller's Flash coming through a portal. He's warning Bruce, and he's saying, you were right about him. You were always right about him.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to, I guess, think that he was talking about Superman, but I mean, I don't know. Like, do you think?
Yeah, we have no idea at this point.
Like, I have a theory that the reason, because Superman gets buried, and then you see the ground that Lois tosses on top of the coffin start to float.
Yeah.
We've seen Superman float rocks before, when he was about to take off in Man of Steel, when he was about to fly for the first time. Like, the rocks started.
See, I think it was just that simple. I think it was just that simple. Like when he does that, he really does. Like he sits down, or like in Man of Steel, that was the deal. Like when he puts his hands to the ground to really take off, he can see the.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if it's that, or if it's maybe like a teleportation situation.
I mean, it could be.
Like maybe Darkseid, because you go back to some of the comics, you go back to like TAS Legacy. Darkseid's taken over Superman's body before.
Yeah.
So maybe if he Granny Goodness, all those bastards, all they did was brainwash him. So if they brainwashed Superman into believing that Batman killed Lois,
I mean, they've had like in what was it, Final Crisis, one of the crises. A fair amount of Apocalypse showed up in human form and started taking over bodies. I mean, that's how they got in there at that time.
Yeah. So there's a definite possibility that this is this is where we're heading. Like Zack Snyder's talked about, they have it on a timeline. So
no, he's got a giant board apparently with exactly what he wants to get accomplished.
The Superman coming back might actually be like part of.
Now, what would annoy me though if they do that is what we're gonna get if Darkseid comes over and immediately takes over Superman's body. What we're gonna get is Batman vs Superman Part 2.
What was the point of him sacrificing himself?
It erases so many things that were just done very well.
It does.
I would prefer it not be that way, frankly, right now. Because right now, to me,
I'm just throwing conjecture out there, theory.
Sure. But like the dirt floating, though, it reminded me more of his pre-flight routine, we'll call it. And I thought they were going to do a nod to the Dark Knight Returns, where like, Clark hears that one little heartbeat out of Bruce's grave. I thought we might get something like that actually for a second, but instead we got a wonderful scene where Bruce basically convinces Wonder Woman that they should start a Justice League. I'm watching the whole time going, oh my god, thank you.
It's like fight. Yeah, it's like, oh, they're gonna have to fight. What? Fight what? I don't know. I just got a feeling. Okay.
And you feel like he's talking about this Flash character coming through. No, I felt like he was talking about like in his nightmare, like he saw the Flash, and he saw the Flash in the actual files. By the way, you want to take a moment to express how cool it was how they did the cameos? Yeah, because I was very happy with that.
That was pretty cool.
That was well done. I was afraid they were going to do some stupid Stinger shit where like, oh, by the way, we should have put that on the spoiler. Don't stay for the Stinger. Instead, in case anyone was doing that, we should have done that to help them out. But oh well. All of you listening to this presumably suffered through those credits with us.
You poor bastards.
Yeah. For sure. Normally I look it up. There's a website, I can't remember the name of it, that actually does a pretty damn accurate job of telling you whether there'll be a Stinger and how many. Yeah. And I was so sure I didn't look it up. My hubris, it betrayed me. But on this one, I was afraid it was going to be maybe a Stinger where we were going to see like some voiceover about a bunch of people saying, oh, these are the guys that'll, there'll be threats and like Flash. You see Flash for a second. There'll be, we'll need these people, and then you'll see like Aquaman, but unrelated activities. No, this was so much better. Like apparently Alexander, I'll try to call him that, has been absolutely keeping tabs of every meta-human he can get his sights on, which
are exactly 4.
He's 4 so far. Well, 5 because he didn't bother having a file for S yet.
I feel like they should have. I think like
an S file.
Yeah, I feel like there should have been an S file and a BAT file.
Well, that's not many even though.
Yeah, but he's still. I mean, he's clearly on Lex's radar. He's clearly like, oh, no, I've got to send Superman after this asshole. Why wouldn't he?
He did not underestimate him.
No, he did not.
He did not.
He tried to make sure that Batman was going to kill Superman and Superman was going to kill Batman, and he should.
Let me put it this way: Alexander, like Lex Luthor of all people, one of the highest IQs in the history of DC fiction, decided that his best chance of killing Superman was to find Batman. Yeah.
And his best chance of killing Batman was to blackmail Superman.
Yeah. I like that little turn though with the like what do you do with you birth a son that can fly. What do you do? Like, what do you call a person like that? What do you normally do with them? Like, he was gonna burn her ass as a witch. I thought that was wonderfully poetic for such a villainous turn. But
man,
Eisenberg did just really incredible job.
But yeah, so we get security footage of the Quickie Mart place where Flash stops a robbery. Not even as the Flash, just as Barry about to get a drink out of a cooler. We get old photographs of it with Chris Pine in it and Wonder Woman from 1918. That was nice.
That was so nice.
And their little band of malcontents, I'll call them, I guess. Looked like a lot of fun. Almost like
I kept looking at it going I want to say Howling Commandos, but that can't be
I
right.
know. That's what I thought of as the Howling Commandos.
But that can't be right, can it?
No. This is World War One, not World War Two.
I know, but we can play a little loose and fast with
DC,
Howling Commandos.
DC is determined to be first. We're like, well, you guys were World War Two, we were World War One, or our Howling Commandos.
Right.
Dum Dum Dugan, we have Dum Dum Engine. I don't
know what the hell they would. I really that's who they kept reminding me of, though. I don't know what name to put on him yet. We'll figure out what the hell DC is.
Yeah.
It hasn't, because I'm sure they'll call him something.
Oh, sure, I'm
a
sure
troop
it's
or a squad of some kind.
I'm sure it's
how cool would that be? If they're a squad, that would be cute. That would be cool. If they were like the Suicide Squad, and that's where the name kind of kept coming from.
The Homicide Squad?
No, they these are the guys that got sent out on missions they weren't supposed to come back from, but they were authorized at that point. So the name works as a namesake. Amanda Waller's got the namesake now.
Well, that's Suicide Squad is something Will Smith. I can't even call him Floyd. I can't even call him Floyd right now. Deadshot calls him we some kind of Suicide Squad. What if they're Task Force A? Because the new ones are Task Force X. That's the official Suicide Squad. And by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but they've been calling them Task Force X on Arrow forever now because they just don't want to say Suicide Squad.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not.
But dude, as we're going through them, we get to see, like you said, you get to see Flash. By the way, Flash's tone so far, we were all worried about Ezra Miller because how can you not be? Dude's a fantastic actor, but this didn't feel like his kind of role.
Yeah, no. He's not even. They're not even playing around with it. They're not like, oh, here's a blonde Ezra Miller. No, he's got the long black hair
and everything, and
big goofy sideburns.
Kind of didn't care. That's fine.
Yeah,
I don't care if Barry has short hair. I've got a short-haired Barry that I love to death. I'll be okay.
I do.
But no, man. Barry Allen's tone in this one so far, even when he's reaching through the portal, he was like, "Did I go? Am I too early? I'm too early." It felt kind of Levitus for just a second. I was half laughing with him. He doesn't take himself that seriously.
Oh, wait, do you remember all the things he was saying when he was in the portal? Because I couldn't hear some of it because of the distortion on the effects.
No, the effects were a little. No, I'd have to see a transcript to see everything. To hear everything. I think we got the main points, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, he even in the, like I said, in the convenience store, he stops the robbery, and by my memory, there's 1 second where he's kind of looking over his shoulder, yeah, what? But then he goes right back to shopping. It looks like he's about to take the jug of milk and just have a swig in the middle of the store,
all right.
Goofy ass Barry Allen might be or something.
The cyborg one was
harrowing, wonderful,
harrowing. I'll say.
Yeah, it was. By the way, the guy playing his dad,
dude from Blues Brothers 2000.
Oh, is that who you know him from?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
I think that was him.
I'm fortunate enough to know him from a show called Eureka. That was much better.
And I think
Blues Brothers 2000.
Hold on there.
I think he's in Scandal now.
I saw, I heard a little bit of Scandal, And I thought it was like the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, you are the scandal now. I'm like, what? What are you
Yeah, I have no idea what that shows up to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand. But,
whatever.
My coworker was
Just down on my radar.
heavily involved in it.
Yeah, like, that guy, dude, they did a wonderful job of that. And it was creepy as all hell. He's got, essentially, did I understand the scene right? He's basically just got his son's corpse.
Yes.
Hanging out on a wall.
Absolutely.
Running unauthorized experiments on the thing. And at some point during the thing, he actually pulls up, like, we're going to break, like, he, in scientist-ish speak, kind of says, all right, fuck protocol. Trying this thing out. And then this giant cube of living matter reanimates his son very painfully. That was awesome. And then Aquaman's was a little strange.
Aquaman's was just like, oh, hey, here's a camera drone going down into some deep-ass wreckage or something in the ocean.
Looked like a reef or something, maybe? I don't know what the hell that thing was.
Yeah, and then you see blinking eyes, and then, hello, here's Aquaman, and I knew he was going to trident the shit out of that camera at some point.
Of course he did. But as soon as he pulled out the trident, I kind of...
Oh, yeah.
And then he actually does get a full-speed swim away. You know, they show how fast he really is. Because otherwise, he's just a weird guy that can breathe underwater and for some reason wields a trident.
I was down with that.
I was absolutely down.
That
See, like,
awesome.
all the cameos from the other League members, wonderful. Wonderful. Now, don't get me wrong. If there had been a green ring somewhere, so it's okay. That's just fine.
I'd gotten...
But I just got, 4 characters. And did you have the same experience, like, during the climax of the film? Or whatever numbered climax it actually was?
There were several climaxes. It actually had to be a little much.
By that point, you would really started to need to pee, and we're kind of hoping they'd wrap this thing up at that point.
Okay, good.
Okay, good.
No, there's another scene. Why? Why is there another scene?
Yeah. Good movie, let's call it.
I'm going to pee so bad. Please. Please.
But during the climax, I had this moment where, all right, they're all fighting Doomsday. Which they did an okay job of assigning him a name without being too on the nose.
Yeah.
It was it wasn't the deftest touch in the film, but
I did like that Lex created him in that, like, my whole issue with one of my biggest issues with the movie's plot just wound up being, like, again, another, like, holdover from Man of Steel. Like, he's in that Kryptonian ship that supposedly, like, shipped out millennia before Krypton got blowed up. And he's like, well, where's the council on Krypton now? And it's like, they're dead. And I'm like, how do you know that ship? Did you receive an update?
I assumed there'd be some kind of update, I guess. Let me give you a headcanon. It's a very smart ship. Probably figured it out. Figured it out by now.
And what the hell was it? I mean, yeah, I guess it's got the ability to, like, use the codex to make Kryptonians.
I think that was just all there was to it.
But it was like, but we've been outlawed from creating abominations.
Yeah, and I was wondering about that. This is a part where surely there's someone, surely someone can help me out with this, because I only have a vague memory of there being something like Kryptonian abominations that in any kind of Krypton canon. I don't know, man. Like, maybe that's just one of those books we haven't gotten around to. But of course, I accepted it, though, as the idea of, like, when they were doing the codex, because that's how they did assigned breeding in this version of Krypton. So with the assigned breeding, though, you got to assume there's some rogue breeders out there somewhere,
right?
Who are making kind of whatever the hell they feel like making with the codex.
I guess they could, make monsters to fight other monsters on worlds that they were colonizing.
Well, they could do that if they wanted to, I guess. And it's very clear that Lex absolutely designs this creature. Like, this was eugenics,
Okay. Just to fill in the listeners, since we were talking about Cyborg's dad, I was like, yeah, he was on Blues Brothers 2000, and then we were talking about what else he was on, and I thought I remembered a thing, and I was absolutely right. He was Dr. Stephen Hamilton on 4 episodes of Smallville.
Oh, nice.
I thought I remembered that he had other ties to our beloved things.
It's nice when one of us actually gets one of those right. Dude, yeah, man. There was a moment during the climax where, all right, they're all fighting Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I was trying not to giggle out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, you're so wrapped up in the movie at this point that you're not really having out loud reactions so much.
Mm-hmm.
But during the final fight, there's several moments where like Wonder Woman will do something, and then it'll pan over and Batman's doing something, and it'll pan over and Superman's doing something. And I swear, every time they panned, inside I just yelled for joy because it's a very focused shot, and you feel like you're watching a Wonder Woman movie for a second. And you're like, oh my god, and Batman's still here. And I'm running around with like a goldfish bowl of emotions. Just every time I get back to the other character, I'm like, oh, and you too. Oh, and you too. Oh, and you too.
Absolutely.
I was so happy. Yeah. So happy with that.
So
they did a really good job of like giving them all good parts to play in taking him down. Actually.
So here's some stuff. That ship gave Lex all this knowledge, all the knowledge it had of all these different worlds.
I mean, he told it to teach him, and
yeah.
You know, his IQ's off the chart, so we assume that he just sort of picked it up.
So, yeah.
I'm willing to assume he knows worlds worth of tech right now.
And at the end of the movie, he's telling Batman, like, the bell has been rung. God is dead. He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Ring-a-ding-ding or whatever he was saying.
The bell's been rung. You can't unring the bell, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
And I don't know why, but somehow the way he put it, I didn't think Darkseid. I thought Brainiac.
Oh, that would be nice. I wouldn't mind that one damn bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind both.
We got a 2-part Justice League film.
I know.
Room for both.
I know.
Bring it.
I know. They just set up a whole world, a whole universe with one movie.
Like in 2.5 hours, you just managed to, and they did. They managed to squeeze on screen and give them all decent roles. Like 5 major characters, minimally.
Absolutely.
And then I'm counting out people out. I'm weeding it down to 5, and they managed to do that in 2.5 hours. You've got 5 hours for 4 to 5 hours in 2 Justice League films. Yeah, I can do Brainiac, and I can do all of Apocalypse if you want to do that. And hell, why not go ahead and do that and get it out of the way?
Yes. Stall the yeses. Like, I am more excited for Suicide Squad now than I have been. Like, Batman vs Superman was the thing I was really worried about, and yeah, the reviews really worried me for a minute. But man, screw those cats.
Yeah,
this is good stuff.
Like, Alfred was fantastic. It's not completely a new take on it. It was just a well done version of that Alfred.
And I could have dealt with some more Alfred. Like, I'm gonna have to buy a TV just so I can get the Blu-ray.
Him going through, like, all right, Alfred got, I felt like, an important amount. It's like it kind of same thing with Lois. They didn't give him a ton to do, but what they did give him was meaty and worth doing.
Absolutely.
I mean, Jesus, Cavill, of all people, Cavill didn't have enough to do acting. I felt like he didn't. If there was anyone I felt sorry for as far as like how much screen time they had versus how little they really had on their plate, it's probably him. Because he had a lot of scowling and a lot of hopeful moments to take care of, but they didn't give him any like breakout emotional scenes. Like, he didn't get Ben Affleck's scenes. You know what I mean? Like, Batman, you saw the emotional side of Batman in this film. You saw him look uncertain, I think we got that with him. I think we got that with Cavill. Yeah. I just didn't feel like it was as much of him.
Maybe not as much, but
because I leaned over to Dave at some point during this film, around the time that Doomsday's kicking his ass. I was like, dude, he has had a long night. I mean, he just got his ass beat by Batman. I mean, beat. Like, I can't wait to see the rated R version of that beatdown because it's going to be even more brutal. Followed by a fucking head-on nuclear explosion. Followed by an assault by Doomsday. Like, even in Death and Return of Superman, he didn't have that bad a day.
No, he didn't. And you know what? They did it right, man. When Doomsday flies him out into space, and then the government
Superman flies Doomsday into space?
Yeah, that's what I meant. And then the government shoots the nuke. Like, that, like, Superman, the way he looked after that nuke.
Oh, man.
That's straight up Dark Knight Returns.
That was, like, some of the nuances on the flaking on his face was like, I swear that's in the drawing. I wanted to have the drawing right next to it go, oh, my God. That's identical. Like, even the tint.
Yeah.
It had that bluish tint to it.
Yeah, and he was all sunken in, and
Yeah.
the clothes were kind of baggy and
Yeah.
sucked in.
Looked like a freaking cadaver floating around in Superman clothes. It's wonderful. And I mean, I can't speak well enough of Wonder Woman. I can't say enough about that.
Yeah.
She was one of the just delightful
great.
surprises because I had a good feeling about her, especially after that Entertainment Weekly article.
Mm-hmm.
And then watching her fight, man. Oh my god. Badass.
Yeah, she was so good.
That she is not to be reckoned with, man.
No.
And she does. She comes like immediately, just walking on the scene. She comes out and like does the bracelets, does all the little cool tricks. Eventually gets to the freaking lasso. Like before that, she grabs the shield and just like leg sweeps Doomsday. And you're going, oh my god, this girl's powerful. Like,
now look, I want to point out, at no point in this movie did I see a gravestone that said Richard Grayson.
I didn't either. That's a good point. Yeah. No.
No.
We didn't see any dead Robin information at all.
Just what we've seen. Ooh, you can tell the day is taking its toll on me. I've had a long ass night. Yeah.
But yeah, there's no sign of what to come as far as the kids go. You know.
Yeah, we know that there is a dead Robin somewhere.
Yeah, and even some of the stuff in the trailer that we thought was going to be active Joker stuff, not just like we think that
wasn't even Joker.
No, it was Lex.
Yeah.
Like the photographs that get delivered to Superman or to Clark in this case, Lex.
It was meant to be believed that it was Wallace, but it was Lex.
Yeah, both of them. Like while he completely hijacks this Wallace cat's life and then abruptly sacrifices it. I have a theory though about the film. If you found it slow, my thoughts on it are it's got like a pre-Finch and post-Finch death wall right in the middle there. Where like with Finch there, it's kind of a political thing, and they're doing a lot of setup, and they're giving you a fair amount of philosophy 101 kind of stuff. I did like the shout out to the problem of evil. He actually calls it by name.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite philosophical questions from David Hume, one of my favorite guys in the history of philosophy. But he calls it right out, gives him the whole thing, and absolutely makes it completely irrelevant to Superman. And man, well done, guys.
This was a well done movie, and the people are saying it wasn't good. I don't think they got it.
I don't think they were supposed to be what? I think they were like, all right, the people who said that it wasn't good are they're Clark Kent being asked to cover football. I think that's what those people were doing. Like, you give a shit about what Gotham's, Metropolis State or Gotham's, I forgot what. But I just felt like at this point that 31, I guess it's only at 31%. So I guess the 69% of people that didn't approve of it. Man, I felt like they were just playing the wrong game, man. Even a tennis racket to a baseball game.
I tell you what, man, I love Matt Carroll to death, but I almost wanted to fight him a little bit. I'm like, no, after all the worrying I've done over this movie,
this was good.
And I love Marvel. I love the Marvel movies too.
Yeah, I really do.
But like, I was starting to get defensive. I was like, yeah, well, Marvel's shitty this way. I'm like, wait, no, that's not me. That's not what I'm about. Hold on, Dave.
It's also not true. We are about being shitty on things.
Yeah,
we're very much about that, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I'm not about the competition generally.
Right,
but I'm oh well. I mean, so far Marvel hasn't done anything about what superheroes. Wait, they're getting there. Hold on, Dave.
Yeah, or our
Civil War's coming.
Our personal dig was like, hey, look, Doomsday didn't look as bad as I thought he was going to look, which is actually true. To which you responded like, well, I mean, it's no worse than the Hulk, at least, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had to and that was honestly, that was my high bar is the Hulk, not from even the Incredible Hulk. My high bar was the Hulk in the Avengers. So like in also Age of Ultron, try to get to the latest thing. Like, oh, let's see how it really. Dude, Doomsday doesn't really look any worse than Hulk in any of those movies. Like, no. It looks like friggin' Doomsday.
Yeah, and I've never had a problem with Hulk in any of these movies.
Yeah,
so I'm not gonna suddenly have a problem with Doomsday.
Yeah, that might, that you were right though. That the green screen shot at the end of the triumvirate there with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
absolutely looked green screen. It did.
It still looks green screen. Here's my when I was.
But within the context of the movie, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like within the context of the movie, like, it all looked like that world.
Yeah. No, and it looked fine within the context, and that's what I was hoping was happening. Like when we talked about that one originally, like, look, we're going to get into the film, we're not going to notice that. We still noticed it because me and you talked about it too much.
Well,
but
it's one of those things that were like me and you. Like, I'm not saying we're master filmmakers by any stretch. I mean, you can look at our crap on YouTube.
Yeah.
We are not master filmmakers, but we know enough of the tricks to pick them out in a professional capacity. Like, we're looking at going, that's where that cut was.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, look at the lighting on Batman. That's wrong. I don't know how I would make it right, but that's wrong.
It ain't right. No, I was just as right before we started recording, Chris Wisdom was asking me like, all right, so the critics, I told him the non-spoiler version of what we thought. But he's going to see it in like IMAX 3D, and I don't think that you're gonna have all right, like I said, I find it distracting, but they're really like that shot in particular. I think is going to look a lot more like rewarding in 3D. I
can't imagine it would, but
I just think like you're not going to see the edging. The edges that's what pulls it out for us. Like we can see the fire so clearly right behind him, and it's kind of weird. Right. Like I think when it comes time when you actually see it, if you saw it in 3D with everyone coming out of the screen, I don't think you'd notice the edges at all. I think it would fit right in personally.
Yeah. I mean, I have to wonder if a couple of the shots were just like, they were like, oh, we really want to make this look better. And the studio was like, okay, where are you going to come up with that money? Because we've already given you this much.
Right. At this point, we've given you the amount of money it would take to fix the first Metropolis. We could revive Kandor with this shit. So right. you can't have any more.
Right. Okay.
If it's shot, it's shot. Cut it if you don't like it.
Right. Well, it's not that damn bad. Yeah. Yeah. So I have a couple of plot points, man.
Even those were kind of.
Even those were headcanon-y. You can like, not nowhere near as bad as Man of Steel as far as that's concerned. I don't think. Since we gave so much shit to Man of Steel about the color grading, what do you want to say anything about it? The color grading on BVS?
Problem solved.
You think it was problem solved?
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah.
Honest to God, all of the colors were there.
Yeah, they were.
His costume looked red and blue.
It did.
Especially when he goes to visit Congress. By the way, that shot when that look on his face when it blows up around him.
Yeah.
Just he's sitting there impervious to everything, but he's you can see the weight of the world on him for a second. Man, I felt bad. And like I said earlier, I totally thought she was going to drink that piss. For a second, I thought she was going to actually drink that piss just to make her point, because she said,
she looked down and saw that jar that said tea on it, and I went, oh, she about to die. Everybody about to die.
I didn't know if that exactly what was going to happen.
I didn't know how.
Was Mercy was in the room. That's what stopped me from going that far with it. I was like, this is going to get weird. Like, I thought he was going to bust in there and absolutely disgrace her, something like that.
No.
Because Mercy was there.
Well, I think that it's something like that, where it's like, oh, these are the fans are going to be like, that's Mercy. You can't kill Mercy.
Yeah.
So it's not even going to cross their mind. It's like, oh, Mercy's going to sit. Dude.
No,
she's a small enough character you can get away with that. Yeah. That's just red herring. It's like, here you go. What's that? Oh, that's a Mercy Graves. Okay, cool. Hey, she's kind of a big deal, right? Oh my God, she's not. She's not a big deal at all. Aboard.
Not a big deal at all.
Get ready for here.
Right. Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal.
Yeah. Of course, I like the idea that Lex just keeps hiring badass women bodyguards and calling them Mercy.
Yeah. Yeah, like you show up and he's like, Rebecca, you gave a great interview. I think I'm going to go ahead and hire you, Mercy. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, all right. So Mercy, if you could go ahead and grab my coffee, let's just get started today. Why not? Blah, blah. My name was. We've been talking for an hour and a half. My name was Rebecca. Oh no, it's not anymore. As of about 5.5 seconds ago. So Mercy, if you could go ahead and get on that coffee.
And then what? Well, you've got Tybo at 12. What? My assistant has to stay in shape.
But I won't have it with any current.
You gentle listeners will have to forgive me. Did we actually put any headcanon to Batman killing? Did we actually talk about that? Or was it were we okay with it? I mean, I know I'm okay with it, but I'm okay with heroes killing. I'm pretty good with it.
I don't know if we completely elucidated it, but I'll put it this way just to recap if we did. Yeah, fine. Yeah. So what?
I'm fine with Oliver killing an arrow, or he did in the first season.
Yeah.
I was fine with that.
It's actually more exciting sometimes than you did.
If you're at the beginning of your superhero career, or your vigilante career, or so damn deep into it that you've lost hope and have become an existentialist, killing is fine. Yeah. Now, if we get to Justice League and he's still just running around killing folk, I'm going to be like, he should have gotten over this by now.
Yeah. Oh, what is that line?
Of course,
Superman, what is the line Superman says when he's floating away to go talk to Bruce? He's gonna I'm gonna either have to recruit him or kill him, and he floats away and tells her like, "No one stays good in this world." I fucking loved the line. I really did. And I'll be honest, man. Like we saw this once. If I saw it 3 times, I'd still only be able to remember paraphrased versions of certain lines. But there are a lot of really great lines in this movie.
Absolutely.
And I don't have the memory to regurgitate them and re-celebrate them with you. But there were fantastic lines in this movie.
Yeah.
Not all of them, obviously, you know.
Perry White is the comic genius of the movie. Every time he's on screen, I'm cracking up at something he's saying.
Yeah.
No, the best part was like, no, you're taking coach. No leg room.
No leg room, yeah.
Executive class? No. No.
Somebody gives her a chopper, he's like, but on the roof! Come on, dude. This is an emotional gesture. You're still gonna cut corners? Cheap bastard. I loved his I was like, can we get that chopper? Like, we can't even afford a bicycle.
Yeah.
Like I
was the only person in the theater who laughed at that. No one else knows that Print is dead.
Right, that was one of my favorite parts of this. It's like Perry White's main agenda during this film was like keeping his paper alive in a paperless world, man. Like that was a whole new struggle. I could have dealt with, I don't know, I could give him a 25-minute story by himself and just see how he's doing with that. Talking to board members.
See, Matt, this is why we weren't bored, because I would be totally on board that. A 30-minute show about how Perry's doing keeping the planet afloat. That's why we weren't bored, because we have special issues.
we live in this strange little world where like we could pull all that aside and be absolutely fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Roll with it.
Screw David Goyer's Krypton prequel. I kind of want Planet. It's just a show about Perry White trying to keep the planet afloat. Like, and that's the tagline for the show.
Yeah.
Like, Perry White saves the planet.
And like the P on planet, you redesign it as like a power symbol, like an electronic power symbol that goes off at the end of the credits every time. Flashes it, and then somebody clicks the button every time, and it dims down. Wonderful.
What up, Berlanti?
We'll pitch this one for you. I'm sure there's no one better for it. Not like you got Kreisberg over there fucking killing it.
Kreisberg's like, I hear there's a great show about Perry White saving the planet.
Right.
Oh, that's gonna noise.
That's kind of smart. Sorry.
I think I just broke my knee.
Right.
I'm no Superman.
I really did, though, for the last... And this was part of what... this is my fault. This is my fault. I know this.
Okay.
Part of what...
I'm usually willing to blame you.
Yeah, that's fine.
What's wrong?
Part of what kept me kind of like not as emotional as I might otherwise have been about Superman dying. Because as soon as it became clear that he was going to die, I started hearing Our Lady Peace in my head. Like, Superman's dead. Yeah, it was fucking... It was
yeah.
That was on me. I failed myself and this movie in that moment. But come on, it's been a long day. I'd been sitting there for a few hours. I think I was awakening mentally. Much like now.
You're right. Oh, Batman fight scene's brutal, brilliant,
and the best Batman has ever moved on a screen, and that includes a pretty huge amount of the animated canon that we love so dearly.
Let me put this. Yeah, Man of Steel had some issues, but it was controversial as hell. I think this movie's got the same thing, and because Man of Steel was so controversial, it's kept the movie alive. The movie is alive more than any Marvel movie has stayed alive, as far as like discussion wise. People are still debating Man of Steel.
Well, and The closest...
And I think this
feel
movie
like the
does
closest
the same
Marvel
thing.
got to that was Iron Man 2, where there was several moments in Iron Man 2 I'm like, people are dying.
Well,
why
Iron
are
Man
we not
3,
focusing on this?
People fighting over whether Trevor Slattery was a good Mandarin or whatever.
Right.
I mean, this is really, I think, if DC movies have got to be controversial, okay.
It's fine.
Let's do that.
Let's do this one a few more times. And he's the writer is Chris Terrio again, right?
Chris Terrio and David Goyer. Yeah.
And David Goyer. Wait, is David Goyer involved?
David Goyer wrote the basic outline.
Oh, okay.
And then he kind of stepped away, and then Affleck brought in Chris Terrio.
They locked David Goyer in a box.
Right.
And
he got Chris Terrio on board, and then apparently Affleck rewrote it once he was on set. So
yeah.
He was like, damn it, Chris. Scribble.
He won't mind. I did this on Argo too. But as dark as this one was, there is light ahead. Like we've already talked about like Terrio's reports of
right.
like he's making a tonal adjustment to do the Justice League films. Like we're not talking animated series here. We're not talking anything close to that.
He said basically the
We're
Batman
not
vs
getting Teen
Superman.
Titans Go. We're just gonna get like a little bit. Just gonna pull back a little bit on the grid.
He said Empire Strikes Back is the analogy to use. BVS is the Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Justice League
the darkest
is the
before the dawn thing.
Actually, I saw someone comment on that saying, "Does that mean Justice League is the Return of the Jedi?" But yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, we're on board. I mean, feel free to tune in a few episodes. Probably news is when we'll go back and do this because we'll look at all the. Feel free to see a few days and a few good night's sleep. Give us all new insights into. Wait a second, how did this happen? But
I mean, I have those, and I'm willing to admit those here. But I kind of feel like we're not really reviewing the movie until we see the R-rated version. Until like I have an R-rated version. And I can sit there and watch it a couple times and actually make copious notes as opposed to just sitting in a theater getting angry at some fat ass eating Jolly Ranchers. But so far, so good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I had though, man. I mean,
yeah.
I was solid. I was on board.
Yeah. So, if you guys enjoyed this review of Batman v Superman, hit us up when we do our review of Gotham and Supergirl and Lucifer coming up just a couple days. And
Arrow and Flashback this week.
Oh yeah, we got Arrow and Flashback this week, don't we?
Flashback, yeah. Busy week.
Fun.
Plus the news, which I'm sure will involve all kinds of reaction shit to BBS.
Absolutely, we're gonna have some fun.
We're gonna see if we're gonna keep a close eye on that 31% fresh rating and see how that goes. I get spoiler alert for you kids. It's a lot of numbers already in there. It's probably not moving too far from 31.
Yeah, it's probably not.
I mean, the audience rating might change for better or worse, really. Because I mean, this is only night one. I mean, this is the small opening. Like it's Thursday night. Once you get Friday and Saturday and Sunday in there and see what the audience does, that number might move a lot. But I feel like a lot of the critics have probably already cast their freshness vote.
Mm-hmm. They've already been paid for
whatever they
various studios, and
they've already got the mouse's money in their pockets and everything.
And those that aren't getting paid, those are the avant-garde little bastards who think they're artsy. And they're the ones over here going, well, let's change the discussion from superheroes to something.
We discussed all of those people on a previous news episode.
The last news episode.
One, Disney doesn't want this movie to go badly. They don't. They need all of these movies to go well.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they even the indie kids, like, grow up, guys. Come on now.
Come on. Everybody loves superheroes.
I mean, we all love a good art house film sometimes. And Dave, much more than I. But
I love art house.
You
guys see Boyhood? Boyhood was amazing.
Never will get around to that one. I know that in my heart. But, even those cats, like, dude, where do you think all the money comes from? It comes from the big box office adventures. Like, they in some ways, like, these movie companies will operate like squirrels gathering their nuts during the summer. When everyone can go to the theater.
Because that's what we do.
Right.
That's what they do, not we. Well, I wish it was we.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'll take some mouse.
All right, guys. Let us know what you thought of Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, and
Dawn of Hope, I'm calling it now.
Dawn of Hope, yeah. Well, I'm still calling it Dawn of Justice because they finally did right by the Batman character there.
It's true.
They finally,
Now, trust me, again, as we said, not all aspects, but...
I don't. I mean, well,
damn it, that is the closest
look,
I've ever seen to a
Golden
good
Age Batman killed. I'm good
lot.
here.
Like a lot.
The initial Batman killed. You know what? Source material backs it up. I'm good here.
Yeah. And there was a lot of complaints about, well, he's got a gun and blah, blah. No, he had variations of guns.
He had variations of guns.
And yes, he helped some people shoot other people on a couple of occasions.
That was the nightmare sequence.
It wasn't even the nightmare sequence.
Was it?
Like in the last scene where he breaks in to save Martha. They're kind of like he's trying to take down one guy and he's kind of got his arm pretty much pinched, and it looks like he's just firing around the room. Yeah. In the process, but he didn't pull that trigger.
He didn't pull the trigger, and he didn't necessarily kill him. He was just kind of pegging him.
With the bullets.
With bullets.
I love that one guy in particular. He finally gets stabbed, and then he grabs the knife and stabs him in exactly the same spot. Mm-hmm. It was precisely the same spot that he got. I half expected him to go like, "How does that feel?" You know. Oh, it's not soon enough. I want the R-rated version in my hands right now. I'll take any version in my hands. Because I'm moments away from passing out at this very moment. Dave's looking at me because I looked at my wrists. Like, it's a habit I've had for years. Right. I don't wear a watch and haven't worn a watch since I was like 14, but I'll still look at my wrist. Yeah. I'm not alone. Some of you do that too. But, dude, like, I would totally... I know I would fall asleep before Finch dies, but, man, I'd probably fall asleep before Scooter McNair gets a chair. But...
Scoot McNairy.
Scoot McNairy.
He said Scooty McNair?
Yeah, I switched apart. I'd probably fall asleep pretty quick, but I'd sure as hell throw it on right now. Yeah. That'd be best anyway. If I got all the way to the fight scenes, I'd stay up all night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I think that's all I got, and that's all you got, right? So
I'm solid. It's bedtime, boys and girls. We're hitting it.
All right. Oh, let us know what you thought of the show or the movie. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. DCOnscreen.com. DC On Screen on both of those previous things. Part of the Giant Size Team Up Network, GiantSizeTeamUp.com. Go check out our buddies Matt Carroll and Jeff Randall, the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. Whew. Until next time, guys, keep some DC on your screen.
Selling your car to Carvana is as easy as...
As easy as pie?
Sure. All you have to do is enter your license plate or VIN.
As easy as a stroll in the park.
Okay, then just answer a few questions and you'll get a real offer in seconds.
As easy as singing.
Why not? Schedule a pickup or drop off and Carvana will pay you that amount right on the spot.
As easy as playing guitar.
Actually, I find that kind of difficult. But selling your car to Carvana is as easy as...
Can be.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get an instant offer today.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.